will cover the introduction portion of UAVs. So basically in this we will cover introduction, history, classification and all the detail about UAVs. So this video lecture is going to be a very important lecture for all of you. So let's start with the definition of UAV, and also in this video you will be able to discuss and to classify the difference between UAV, drone, quadcopter and everything. Right? So let's start with this lecture. So basically, what is UAV? The question is, what is UAV? The full form of UAV is unmanned aerial vehicle. Basically, it is a vehicle which is operating without a human pilot, also known as drones. So basically drones and UAVs both are same. In modern times, drones are gaining popularity in day-to-day application. You can see examples of them in the later part of the module. So let's start with the history of UAV. The first drone was built in year 1849. Austrians were attacking Venice. They launched large pilotless balloons with the explosion attached to it to fly into the sky or all over the city. However, the wind started blowing in opposite direction and exploded right above the Austrians. Since then, there were incremental innovations that were happening over the period of a century and a half. Drones came in form of large pilotless planes and weapons delivery systems. In the late 1990s, drones started becoming smaller in size. Even then, the applications of drones were very focused on the military. The drones slowly started bringing cameras with better cameras and image stabilization technologies. That is when drones started being used for their first non-military applications, aerial photography and cinematography. Also, as software for image processing and data gathering improved, drones started being used for all the applications. So let's start with the classification of drone. Basically, drones are classified on two types. Number one, on the basis of size, and number two, on the basis of structure. So if we will talk about drone classification on the basis of size, then basically it is classified in 5 types. Number 1, micro. Number 2, nano. Number 3, small. 4, medium. And the last one is large drones. So let's see all these categories in detail. So basically the question is, what is nano UAVs? Basically, as you all know that if we have to fly the drone in India, then we have to give the permission, and we have to first of all we have to take the permit from DGCA, that is the full form of the Director General of Civil Aviation. So for nano category drones, there is no need of any type of license for operating the nano category drones. Basically, it is the smallest category drone. The weight of nano category drone is up to 25 gram. There is no need of license to operate for this type of drone. Another type is micro UAVs. So if we will talk about micro UAVs, then it's very small UAVs range from micro-sized. Feature about the size of a large insect up to a dimensions of the order of 30 to 50 centimeter, or if you want to calculate in inch, then 12 to 20 inch. They carry the weight of more than 250 grams up to 2 kg. So if we will talk about small UAVs, then many of these UAVs have the configuration of a fixed wing model airplane and are hand launched by their operator by throwing them into the air, much as we launch a toy glider. It has dimensions is in the order 50 cm. If we want to calculate in inch, then 19.7 inch to 1 meter or 2. Weight of small category drones lies between 2 kg to 25 kg. So let's start with the medium category drones. Basically, medium categories drones or UAVs. There are too large as it can carry around one person and still smaller than a light aircraft. They have a typical wingspan of the order of 5 to 10 meter. If we will calculate in feet, then 16 to 32 feet. And carry payloads of like more than 200 kg. This drones lies between 25 kg up to 150 kg. And if we will talk about large UAVs, then the UAVs are larger than a typical light manned aircraft. This includes a particular group of UAVs that can fly long distance from their base and also extended periods to perform surveillance functions. They also are large enough to carry weapons in significant quantities. Its weight is more than 150 kg. So let's take a look about the classification of drone on the basis of structure. So basically, on the basis of structure, drones are classified in three types. Number 1, fixed wing structure. Number 2, lighter than air systems. And number 3, rotary wing aircraft. So let's start with fixed wing structure in detail. The fixed wing drones get the thrust by a propeller which is turned by an internal combustion engine or a motor. It can fly at high speed but cannot hover at a place. If we will talk about hover, then the question is what is hovering process? Basically, when aircraft is gliding at a particular distance, that is known as hovering. Its control system includes elevator, rudder and aileron. The lighter than air systems uses gas like hot air, helium, hydrogen, etc. It can hover at a place but becomes difficult to operate during poor weather conditions. Rotary wing drones are propellers fixed on motor to generate thrust. These drones can take off vertically and hover at a place. So basically, in these words, we have seen that three main important things. Number 1 is hovering, number 2 is vertical takeoff, and number 3 is fixed wing. Okay, so we will discuss all these things in detail. But first of all, if we will talk about the stability criteria of aircraft, then basically three basic stabilizers are there in aircraft which is being used for the stability of aircraft. Number 1 is aileron, elevator and rudder. So in drones also we are using three main stability parameter, right? So again, if we will talk about fixed wing structure, then fixed wing drones, as the name suggests, have two fixed wings along the lateral axis of the aircraft. Fixed wing UAVs consist of a rigid wing that has an airfoil shape which makes flight capable by generating lift caused by the UAV's forward airspeed. But I think you have a question like what is airfoil, right? So if we will talk about airfoil, then it's a cross section of wing or tail portion. If we will cut, let us suppose this is our wing and we cut this wing from this section, okay, then the cross section of this will be known as airfoil, right? So basically, this airspeed is generated by forward thrust, usually by the means of a propeller. Basically, all these components are explained in detail in lectures. It turned by an internal combustion engine or electric motor. Control of the UAVs comes from control surfaces built into the wing itself. These traditionally consist of aileron, elevator and rudder. They allow the UAVs to freely rotate around three axes that are perpendicular to each other and intersect at the UAV's center of gravity. So I think you have more question if you are from aeronautical background, then you know everything. But if you are from other background, then you are facing some issues. But don't worry, we will discuss all these terms in detail in lectures. Okay. So basically, now the question is, what is the advantage and disadvantage of fixed wing UAV? So let's take a look. Basically, the advantage of fixed wing UAVs are comparatively simple structure, Maintenance process is also very simple, aerodynamically stable system and better energy efficiency with high operational flight time at lower energy and cost. But if we will talk about the disadvantage of fixed wing UAV, then need a runway or launcher for takeoff and landing. Thus, comparatively more land floor area is required to eradicate this issue. Solutions like vertical takeoff and landing and short takeoff landing are very popular. To generate lift, fixed wing aircraft require air movement through the wings. Thus, these must stay in constant forward motion and cannot hover at a single location like a multi-rotor UAVs. But again, the question is, what is multi-rotor UAVs? So have patience, we will see everything in detail. So another is lighter than UAVs. If we will talk about lighter than UAVs, then aircraft such as balloon and blimp are designed such that when filled with a gas lighter than air, example hot air, helium, hydrogen, the aircraft displaces the atmospheric air apart and floats in the air like a wooden plank float in water. The difference in density of gas inside and outside the aircraft creates the lift in these aircrafts. So basically, if we will talk about the advantage of lighter than UAVs, then it is incredibly light and maneuverable and also capable of quickly changing directions both during motion and stationary. Also have low specific fuel consumption, ideal for stationary hovering, application for long duration of time over a specific area, example sports, event, border and surveillance. But every good things also have some disadvantages. So the disadvantages of lighter than air UAVs are highly difficult to operate in difficult weather situations like typhoon, storm, thunder, rain, snowfall, hail, etc. Large surface area make it difficult to operate in windy conditions. So on the basis of structure, our last classification is rotary-wing aircraft. As name suggests, rotary-wing aircraft, it means here the wing will rotate and produce the lift. Also, the rotary wing will be used for the stability criteria, right? So let's take a look about rotary-wing aircraft. A rotorcraft or rotary-wing aircraft is a heavier-than-air flying machine that uses lift generated by wings called rotary wings or rotor blades that revolves around a mast. A rotor is a setup of 2 to 8 blades mounted on a mast. The mast is a shaft connected perpendicular to the rotation plane of the rotor blades connected to a power source, that is engine. So you can see here about the rotary wing aircraft. Okay, again, if we will classify the rotary wing aircraft, then it is classified on the basis of the rotor used in UAVs, right? So on the basis of rotor, rotary wing aircraft are also classified in 4 categories. Number 1, single rotor. Number 2, 2 rotors. Number 3, 3 rotors. And number 4, multi-rotors. Rotary-based aircraft work under the same principle as a fixed wings. However, constant aircraft forward movement is not needed to produce airflow over the blades. Instead, the blades themselves are in a constant movement which produces the required airflow over their airfoil to generate lift. The major interest of this module is on multi-rotor aircraft/drones. A multi-rotor aircraft is a mechanically simple aerial vehicle whose motion is controlled by speeding or slowing multiple downward thrusting motor or propeller units. The most common multi-rotor aircraft or drones is a quadcopter. Multi-rotors are further classified based on the number of rotors. So, quadcopter, hexacopter, octocopter, decacopter and dodecopter. So in quadcopter there are 4 rotors, in hexacopter there are 6 rotors, in octocopter there are 8 rotors and in dodecopter there are 12 rotors. So basically this quadcopter is going to be a great topic, and we will discuss more about quadcopter because it is very beneficial because of a lot of purposes, and we will discuss all these details in detail. So, what are the advantages of these drones or rotary-wing UAVs? Basically, it is capable for vertical takeoff and landing ability. User can operate within a smaller vicinity with no requirement of takeoff landing area. Ability to hover and perform agile maneuvering tasks. Precision flying. So these are the main advantages of multi-rotor UAVs. And you can also see the flying of multi-rotor UAVs here. Now the question is, what are the disadvantages? Basically, multi-rotor drones are comparatively complicated structure and programming. They are aerodynamically unstable system, thus it requires as on-board computer light controller and low energy efficiency compared to fixed wing counterpart. So now we will discuss about the applications of drones or UAVs. As you all know, the full form of UAV is unmanned aerial vehicle. So now we are able to see that UAVs and drones are same. So what are the applications of drones? With the ability to reach inaccessible places and its agility, drones are helping humans to expand their horizons. In COVID period, there are many places where man was not able to deliver the medicines. Then we have seen that drones are delivering our medicines to the required person by the help of drones. Also, here some of the major drone applications areas. Drone finds its application in aerial photography. Most common use of advanced camera carrying drone unit is to capture media coverage from inaccessible location. It can be implemented for search and rescue operations. So, drones these days are equipped with thermal sensors, so they are able to locate the position of lost persons. They are also able to work in dark and inside a challenging terrain. The search and rescue operations were suffering a lot from long time due to lack of technology, but now drones can make everything possible within few minutes. In the field of agriculture, drones are also playing a vital role. Drones can help farmers to save their money as well as crops by keeping an eye of failing plants. They can study the large size farmlands along with proper monitoring of irrigation systems. Farmers can know hope for all information updates quickly, and drones can also help them to spray fertilizers, pesticides and water for crop at right times. Drones for shopping and delivery. As advantage, drone units are capable enough to carry heavy payloads, so they can be now utilized for shipping and delivery applications. It will help people get instant service for their requested products at doorstep, and the best part is it will not stick anywhere in road jam. You can now get your food order within few minutes at your place. So as we can see that Zomato, Swiggy, these are the most popular units which are delivering our foods. So they are also implementing the drone delivery system in their companies, and we can say that in upcoming few years, like 1 to 2 years, drone will be used for everywhere. Drone and engineering application. Most of the engineering firms these days are utilizing drone technology to monitor their in-depth project like transmission cables, oil pipeline, and maintenance inspections. Mapping with drone. Engineering industry that deal with infrastructure projects, airport planning tasks, maintenance and construction activities. Drones are capable enough to perform surveys with increased efficiency. Drones for safety surveillance. They are find application in careful monitoring at border areas so that drugs and migrant smuggler can be easily captured. Drones serve like an intelligent army that can protect nation from so many problems, and that is why most of the countries these days are working on development of highly advanced drone units. Wireless internet access. As internet is one of the most essential technology for human being in 21st century, so some work in its progress in reality appreciable. You will soon be able to catch signal on your mobile by a drone flying above in air. Application in field of research and nature science. One of the most essential feature of drone is their maneuverability, as they can be designed in a very small size but will still have impressive capabilities. So basically, as from the above applications, now we are able to say that drones are going to be a great part of our life. So if anything is much important, then we have to know about that. And also, if you want to design your own drone, then you can continue with these lectures. So our another lecture will be based on module 2, under which we will discuss about the whole component and essential part of a drone. So now I think you like our if you like our channel, then please like, subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss any drone related update. And also Indian government or overall world are going to be in many countries drones are being a great startup of